Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Payson, and I am honored to have a returning guest on the show and a newly victorious MMA fighter, Mike Rattanni. Mike, welcome back to the show. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Happy to have you on. You made your MMA debut yesterday, which happened to be your mom's birthday. You had a great fight, showed a lot of long kicks and long punches, and then got a great rear naked choke in the second round. You've been training and fought out of PA Combat Sports. How did this all come together? What made now the right time? And then walk us through the fight, because you made a debut at 30. Most guys are not debuting in MMA at 30, but you looked great. You looked like you could do a lot more of damage inside the cage.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I was just going through like a really tough time mentally, and some personal problems were happening. I messaged one of my friends from the gym and just said, look, dude, I'm going through a lot, but I don't know why, but I need a fight. I just felt like it was the right time. I told him I needed it, and he sent me the poster, that you guys were looking. You're like, we're looking for a 135er, and I was like, all right, sign me up for that. And that's how it got going. So it was crazy. It just happened, dude.
Wow. Sometimes those things just come together. I'm glad it all worked out. And then it happened to also be on your mom's birthday. And you were very sweet to not only wish her happy birthday, but to kind of apologize that she spent her birthday at a fight. But must be really cool. How was that after you won, for you guys to share that experience together?
It was so cool, man, because there were so many people in the crowd that I didn't expect to see. And when I went over to see my team, this dude that I'd known like my whole life goes, yeah, man, me and like a couple of my old buddies, he's like, we're all over there hanging out with your mom and stuff. And I was like, that's crazy, because my mom wasn't alone, you know what I mean? It wasn't like she was with, because she doesn't really know the people from the gym. So it was really cool. My mom was super happy. She was like, oh, that was just so awesome what you did. So it was like, I'm glad that I dragged her out in at least one, because that could have been a lot worse of a conversation.
Could have been. Talk about the first round. How was it? I mean, you've sparred. You're learning at a gym that's good, that has a friend of mine who's one of the coaches there, Justin Benzema, who's a black belt. Your head coach, black belt. Sounds like I should do an interview with him, because it sounds like he's done about everything. So actually, I should reach out to him. But you obviously had a lot of confidence. What was that first round like? There's a lot that can happen in those first 2 minutes when you're in a live fight. Things are happening. You looked great, but what was it like in there for the first round for you?
It was crazy. I don't know. I felt like I had a sandbag on me or something. Like it was different, but I felt really good. That's what I kept telling people. They kept saying, well, hey, were you nervous and this and that? And I was like, no, I was so excited for like the first time in forever that I didn't even feel that. But after I got a couple punches in and got punched, it really, I don't know, man. I think it was the fact that I was hitting a dude as hard as I could, and he kept coming forward. And that's one of the most demoralizing things, that it makes you question, like, oh man, am I even doing anything? And it's like, my punches don't even matter if he just keeps coming forward. So it was just I don't know. I can't even describe it, but it was a heck of an experience. All I knew is, hey, keep the jab going, and whatever's landing, that's what you do. So
yeah, hey, it was working. You said in your post-fight interview with me in the cage that you're maybe a little bit more wild than you usually are. That's about right, particularly for a first fight. And I always say, you for most people, you might lose about 50% of the technique that you had prior, because there's a lot of adrenaline. You kind of build back up. The more you do it, the more you get in there. There's certainly some things you can work on, but right from the beginning, you're super tall for 135. But here's the weird part. Not everybody who's tall for their weight class fights tall, and you did, with your jab, with your overhand, and then with that rear teep or that push kick, which I mean, in 2 minutes, you landed that thing over and over again. Really great, like a Muay Thai style. Really awesome. What was it like getting into your first corner? Because a lot of times for a fighter to get into the corner, have to catch their breath, and it kind of really hits them like, I got to go back out there. What was it like being in your first corner, talking to your two coaches? What was that whole experience like? And did they tell you stuff that you kind of worked on, or was it just kind of like, keep doing what you're doing? Because you did have a good first round.
Well, I think before the fight, even at the gym, my professor was like, "Look, dude," he goes, "You're just gonna go out and do your thing. We know that." He's like, "But let's keep." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna keep it technical." All I was thinking about when I was in that corner, all he was doing was telling me to breathe. He wasn't trying to overcoach me because he knows me like very well. He knows that you can give me a couple pointers, but once I turn around, man, it's just it's almost out the window. But yeah, man, that's all I could think about was like, okay, first round's down. I don't think I did too bad, but I just kept telling myself like, you're in a fight now, dude. This is a fight, because my body was like, oh, this feels like those hill sprints all over again. I'm like, yeah, well, the hill sprints were worse. This is a fight. But that's all I could keep thinking, man, is you're in a fight and you're not doing bad. It was really just me against myself out there.
Yeah. And then second round, you ended up getting a rear naked choke. So somebody that's built like you, not only can you fight long, but also we've seen this out of Cowboy Cerrone when he was at 55. You've got a lot of long limbs, great for rear naked chokes, great for darces, anacondas, triangles, long legs, can do a lot. So I think your Professor Benzema had just told me that you are a blue belt for like 3 months, something like that. How confident were you that you could hunt a submission on the ground? Because in novice amateur rules, that's kind of the best case scenario. You look good on your feet and you submit them on the ground. That's kind of the best case scenario in the novice rules.
I don't know. I felt confident once it got to the ground. See, I'm like, as a smaller dude, you're going to be spending a lot of time on bottom once people get mount side control and all that stuff. So your defenses are really the first thing that you're going to get right. And I'm not really an offensive fighter, but just like Professor Benzema said to me a long time ago, because I was asking about Charles Oliveira in the Islam fight. I was like, well, how did it, like, if he's a black belt, how did he get submitted so quick? And he's like, well, the old saying is when a black belt gets punched in the face once, he's a brown belt, and then the list goes on and on. So it was just like, I think that helped me get that, but I felt confident on the ground either way. I didn't feel like I was in any danger, but I certainly, after I saw how he escaped, and like, I think the dude was bigger than me. He definitely felt like he felt stronger. And I knew that it wasn't an easy game to win. That's certainly not the way I looked at it. Cause I got to the ground, I was like, well, it didn't go the way you wanted to. You fought a little harder there, trying to keep it standing. So, but I was confident once I had the back and I got that, I really did feel like the choke was in. So I felt confident there, but yeah, I felt all right on the ground.
Yeah. Hats off to you and to your coaches, to bring somebody to the point of going to MMA where so many things can happen. It's a great thing. We've seen a few PA combat sports fighters before, but not a ton. So it's always great to kind of have, we've got a couple big gyms that they're on like every card, but it's great to see you. And I'm going to ask the obvious question. Was this a once and done for you? Or do you think you're trying to get back out there in December? We have a great December card coming up. The 2 dates, actually, one's submission only, and the other one is MMA at Monroeville. Are you trying to get back on it in December?
I was thinking, do you guys still have a February one?
I don't think it's been announced, but typically it goes like in April, July, October, December, usually one February range, and then April, and then back around. Usually, I don't think it's been announced though. You're thinking about taking time to develop a little bit more before you get back in there. Is that your strategy for skipping December?
Yeah.
Potentially?
Yeah, I wanted to just take a little bit of time. I think December might be just a little bit too soon, but I am game for anything. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely staying in shape and still training and dieting the way that I am. So I'm definitely going to stay ready. but it's not a one and done for me. I want to keep doing this. I felt great. I've never had that feeling in my, like, honestly, that might have been the best night of my life, you know, and it wasn't just for the fact that I went in, you know, got a win. It was so many people came out. Man, it was crazy. My old karate sensei showed up. I told him, like, I haven't seen this dude in 3 years. I didn't even say nothing to him. I told him 3 days ago. I didn't expect this guy to show up. So many people came out of the woodwork. So, and win or lose, I want to experience that again. So it's not a one and done for me. You guys will see me back for sure.
That'll be awesome. I can't wait to see you back in the 247 Fighting Championship cage whenever that happens. Hats off again to you and to your coaches. It's been awesome having you on both before your fight and now again. So that's always cool. It's why I like sometimes getting debut fighters on the show, because it's kind of cool to watch them develop. So for those out there that are a big fan of Mike and also sort of local regional MMA, please subscribe to MMA Fancast YouTube channel. That's just a great way to continue to develop it. And thanks so much for coming on. You've been listening to Luke Payson from MMA Fancast with the victorious Mike Rattanni. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it.
You got it.